NASCAR showed up to Kansas Speedway ready to race. Then a tornado watch hit. Qualifying canceled. And when the starting grid dropped, JR Motorsports locked P1, P2, and P3 without turning a single lap. Fans went nuclear online. They called it rigged, they called it fixed, and the conversation now happening inside the NASCAR garage is one the sport does not want out in the open. Here is everything. It was Friday, April 17th. The NASCAR Xfinity Series pulled into Kansas Speedway for race 10 of the 2026 season. Teams showed up early. Pre-race inspection ran clean. Every single one of the 37 cars passed. Zero problems, no drama, just drivers and crews ready to get on track and earn their spot on the grid. Then the sky turned ugly fast. A tornado watch went into effect Friday afternoon. Speedway officials shut the grandstands down immediately. No fans were allowed in. Then the lightning came. Heavy rain poured down and soaked the racing surface along with the entire 1,200-acre facility surrounding the track. There was nothing NASCAR could do. They pulled the plug on all on-track activity for the night. Practice was gone. The ARCA Menard Series qualifying at Kansas got wiped out too. NASCAR put out an official statement and kept it short. Due to weather in the area, all on-track activity at Kansas Speedway has been canceled for the remainder of the evening. The NASCAR Xfinity Series starting lineup will be set per the rulebook. That one phrase, set per the rulebook, lit the fuse. So what does set per the rulebook actually mean? When qualifying gets canceled, NASCAR does not flip a coin. They use the COVID-era performance metric formula. It weights 4 specific factors. 35% is based on team owner points, 25% on the driver's finish in the previous race, 25% on the owner's finish in the previous race, and a measly 15% goes to the fastest lap from the prior race. On paper, it sounds perfectly reasonable to hardcore statisticians, but in real life, because 85% of the math is strictly tied to points and past finishes, it hands the front of the grid to the biggest, most powerful teams every single time. At Kansas, that played out in the most dramatic way possible. Carson Kvapil driving the number 1 Chevrolet for JR Motorsports. His first career Xfinity Series pole, in his 52nd career start in the series. Right behind him in P2, William Byron making a start in the JR Motorsports number 88. And P3 went to Justin Allgaier, the series veteran and current points leader, driving the iconic 7 Brand T Chevrolet, all JR Motorsports. 0 laps turned. The comment sections filled up immediately. Fans flooded social media calling the metric system broken. They called the rainout procedure an absolute gift to big teams. The argument was simple and direct. Not one of those 3 drivers earned that starting position with raw speed. And those fans are not entirely off base. Ryan Sieg in the No 39 for RSS Racing starts 12th. Jeremy Clements, a one-man team operation, sits outside the top 15. Josh Bilicki in the No 1, 23 starts 23rd. At Kansas Speedway, starting in the back of the pack is an absolute aerodynamic nightmare. 1.5. Mile layout brutally. Punishes cars caught in the turbulent wake of the leaders. Running up front in clean air means a driver can actively protect their tires on long green flag runs and completely control the pace of their own race. Starting deep in the field means drowning in dirty air. It means exponentially worse tire wear, constantly battling unpredictable traffic, massively increased contact risk, and a violently steep mountain to climb just to crack the top 10. For a smaller, underfunded team, a bad starting spot at Kansas does not just make a win harder, it effectively destroys their entire race strategy before the green flag even waves. They desperately needed that qualifying session to fight for clean air, and the weather completely stole it from them. The stakes here go far beyond just starting positions and dirty air. This race is the second Dash 4 cash event of the entire 2026 season. 4 drivers, Carson Kvapil, Justin Allgaier, Sheldon Creed, and Brent Cruz, are racing for a massive $100,000 bonus on top of their normal prize money. But here is the layer of this chaos that makes it a true wild card. Every team showed up Friday expecting a full session to dial in their setups on a hot, humid, 80-degree track. Now, crews are pulling up old Kansas computer simulations for a Saturday night race where the temperature is expected to violently plummet into the upper 30s. That is a massive 40+ degree temperature drop between Friday's washout and Saturday's green flag. Track surface behavior fundamentally flips upside down in those freezing conditions. Tire grip levels wildly shift. Handling characteristics completely change. Setup decisions that perfectly worked in warm Kansas weather will be catastrophically wrong on a freezing cold Saturday night. The intense anger at Kansas this weekend is not a sudden surprise. It is the exact same boiling frustration NASCAR fans have been building for years. Over the last decade, NASCAR has aggressively cut practice time across the board. Full weekend schedules with multiple long practice sessions and traditional happy hours are basically gone. NASCAR sold it heavily as a necessary cost-saving decision. But the fans have been pushing back relentlessly. The complaint never changes. When teams do not get real track time, the actual racing product deeply suffers. Drivers cannot dial in their setups. Cars are not performing at their absolute peak. And when a freak rainout cancels the tiny sliver of qualifying time left on the schedule, like Kansas, that frustration hits a massive brick wall. Connor Zilisch is the hottest driver in the garage right now. Just 1 week ago at Bristol Motor Speedway, the teenage phenom pulled off the unthinkable. Driving the Trackhouse-affiliated Chevrolet, Zilisch outdueled Cup Series superstar Kyle Larson in a thrilling, chaotic finish on older tires to secure a massive Xfinity Series victory. It was a statement win that permanently put the entire garage on high alert. But surviving Bristol and conquering Kansas are two completely different beasts. Bristol is a steep, high-banked, half-mile concrete bullring where survival is about lightning-fast reaction time and raw, physical aggression. Kansas is a sprawling, sweeping, mile-and-a-half asphalt chess match defined purely by extreme aerodynamic sensitivity and millimeter-perfect throttle control. Transitioning between those two distinct disciplines is historically brutal for rookies. Now, he rolls into Kansas Speedway, carrying massive momentum and the heavy expectations of a driver rapidly cementing himself as the absolute future of the sport. But thanks to the rainout and the performance metric, Zilisch didn't get a single practice lap to feel out his car before the drop of the green flag. He will have to rely purely on raw instinct and whatever simulator data his team cooked up back at the shop to navigate the freezing Kansas night. Whether the kid can adapt instantly and go back-to-back without turning a single practice lap is the ultimate test of his talent. 37 cars. A front row mathematically handed to JR Motorsports. A massive 40-degree temperature swing that has every crew chief sweating bullets. A $100,000 bonus completely up for grabs. A frustrated fan base calling the entire system rigged loud enough for the tower to hear. And a teenage phenom looking to prove Bristol was not a fluke. The garage is closed. The tire sets are strictly allocated. The talking is finally over. That is the race. That is the true story. And that is exactly what happens when a tornado watch blows through the Midwest and violently rewrites the entire weekend.